hostess badge.
Uh-oh.
Thank Rowan a group for work regarding tax reform and police control issues, and Sinquefield supports his push to eliminate teacher tenure through a constitutional amendment, but that you're not leading the upper. Where are we at? I can see arguing for and against tenure. So where are we at on our amendment?
I can't think of a better university where I am more comfortable answering that question. Because it is a simple fact that Lindenwood University is leading the nation in this effort. I'm on the board of St. Louis University. Father Biondi has said to me many times, I hate tenure, and it's so damn hard to get rid of. It is a terrible system. It was brought in about the year 1000 to protect religious teaching from state governments. Now, I think it's been around long enough. It's about time we can get rid of it. Now, the problem in education is K through 12 education. See, I don't worry about college education, because you know what's great about college education is everybody is free to choose. There's no government-run monopoly in college education. Every college has to compete. Many years ago, Lindenwood almost went out of business, hanging on by its fingernails. And then you've got tremendous management and people to come in, and you've turned it into a magnificent place. All you got to do is walk around the campus and say, that's the benefits of competition. That does not exist in K through 12 in the public school system in the United States or in Missouri. And can you think of any other business where people have lifetime tenure? Can you think of any other occupation in this country where you can screw up and you can screw up children's lives permanently and they can't fire you? There was just an op-ed in, so we were talking about this at lunch, the Show Me Institute, and I recall the estimate to get rid of a teacher in Missouri, or maybe it was specifically in the St. Louis public school system, a teacher who is really just horrible, cost about $100,000 in process and procedure. So you can't get rid of them. Now, it is a fact, after about 3 to 5 years in a new teacher's life, many of the good ones leave and go on to something else. And the bad ones stay, and their pay increases with time and grade. It is right now illegal to consider the performance of the students in setting the pay of teachers in Missouri. It's illegal. I mean, this is, you know what, there was a column written, and I hope I don't offend anyone. It was a published column by a man named Ralph Voss, who was a former judge in Missouri. He now owns and writes for a newspaper in central Missouri called the Unterrified Democrat. What a name. And it's in Osage County, Missouri. And he starts off, and it's something like this. He said a long time ago, decades ago, the Ku Klux Klan got together and said, how can we really hurt the African-American children permanently? How can we ruin their lives? And what they designed was the public school system.
When was the last time you were in a public school and talked to a public school teacher?
I was in Innovative Concept Academy just recently in St. Louis and got tours of
Public
It's not a
school.
public school.
Yes, it is. It's an independent public school funded by the St. Louis public school system. But I haven't been in, maybe I've been in other, I just don't recall. But I know a lot of teachers. Yes.
I'll invite you to Ferguson, Florissant School District, in which I was a school board member. We are now 41st in the nation in per student spending on education. We were 30th in the nation 10 years ago. You joined suit when 200 school districts were suing the state for more money. You joined that and you put out information. You fought against that raise for these students. You have not been for public education. And you want my wife, who has kids that are homeless. There are 1,300 kids who are homeless in Ferguson, Florissant. You want my wife, who has kids that are beaten and sexually abused at home. You want people that are her students who are come from drug-addicted homes, and you want her performance to be based on their scores. Sir, I disagree with you, and I invite you and Dr. Podgorski to meet me any place, anytime. My daughter is a graduate of this university. I will be glad to debate you on the subject of school funding anytime.
Okay, let's talk about the school funding. This was a case, it made the news, but not a whole lot. It was called the adequacy suit. These suits are going on all over the country. Well, they're slowed down since the Missouri suit. And about 220 school districts sued the state and said, we want more money for our K through 12 education. We're not getting enough money. Now, it says, I can't get into if each and every school district is properly funded. I have no idea. Are there probably misallocations of funds? Almost certainly there are. But anyway, I was persuaded to intervene because 6 to 8 weeks before this case was going to go to trial, and it would have cost Missouri taxpayers an additional $1.3 billion a year. Okay, 8 weeks before trial, Jay Nixon, the then Attorney General, whose obligation is to defend the taxpayers of the state of Missouri, had deposed exactly 2 expert witnesses. And it was clear to a lot of people that he was going to throw this case, and then that would be good for his election to governor. When we saw the magnitude of these numbers, we said, we have got to bring in experts. We intervened. Our lawyers, liberal Democrats, by the way, intervened. We brought in 40 expert witnesses from around the country. And fortunately for the state of Missouri, we had a very smart judge who was a Democrat, is now the U.S. Attorney in St. Louis. And they basically were 9 points, I think, in the case, and we won on every single point. The case ultimately revolved around, are we spending enough? The Missouri Constitution says you have to spend 25%. We were able to show we were spending a lot more than that, and that was over. Now, the second point, I know a lot of kids that have problems. They go into public schools, they go into parochial schools. Those kids need to be helped. But there's nothing wrong with evaluating teachers' performance based on how well those kids improve, not based on their condition when they come in. Do they make any improvement at all? And I'll bet you they do. I'll bet you they make a lot of improvement on these kids. There is research that shows that a good school can overcome, not entirely, but can overcome the effects of a bad home life. It can't erase it, but it can overcome it, a really good school.